The aroma of coffee filled the air, a stark contrast to the tension brewing at the breakfast table. It was Father's Day, but the usual warmth was replaced by an unsettling chill. David, his face shrouded in shadows, sipped his coffee, his brow furrowed. His son Ethan sat opposite him, a storm brewing in his eyes.
Why did you lie?
Ethan's voice, though barely a whisper, cut through the silence like a shard of glass. David's grip tightened around his mug. Ethan had always been perceptive, but this time his question felt different, loaded with an accusation that sent a shiver down David's spine.
What are you talking about?
David's voice was strained, his attempt at nonchalance failing miserably. Ethan's eyes narrowed.
Don't play dumb, Dad. The phone call yesterday. Who was it about?
David's mind raced. How much did Ethan know? What had he overheard? The previous day's events played out in David's mind like a poorly edited film. He had received a call while at the grocery store, his phone buzzing insistently in his pocket. He'd stepped away from the cart, his heart pounding as the voice on the other end delivered the news. He'd forgotten his phone on the counter, rushing out, his mind a whirlwind of confusion and dread. When he'd returned, his phone was gone. He'd searched frantically, his anxiety escalating with each passing moment. Relief washed over him when he'd found it tucked between two cereal boxes, seemingly untouched. But now, looking at Ethan's face, a knot of dread tightened in his stomach. Had Ethan seen the missed call?
Ethan, it's not what you think.
David began, but the words felt hollow even to his own ears. Ethan pushed back his chair, the screech of metal against tile echoing their unspoken emotions.
Then tell me the truth.
He shouted, his voice cracking with a mixture of anger and hurt. David had hoped to shield his son from the harsh reality, at least for a little while longer. But fate, it seemed, had other plans. Later that day, David found his wife, Claire, curled up on their bed, her shoulders shaking with silent sobs. He sat beside her, his hand hovering over her back, unsure how to offer comfort in the face of such raw grief.
He's gone, David. He's really gone.
David wrapped his arms around her pain a tangible weight against his chest. He knew she was talking about her brother Daniel, the uncle Ethan had never met. Daniel, who had lived a life shrouded in secrecy and pain. The news of his death, though not entirely unexpected, had ripped open old wounds, leaving them both grappling with a maelstrom of emotions. David wished he could erase the pain from Claire's eyes, but some wounds, he knew, ran too deep for even the most heartfelt words to heal. Ethan's anger that night was palpable, a suffocating presence that hung heavy in the air. He picked at his dinner, his silence speaking volumes. David watched him, his own frustration mounting. He understood his son's anger, his need for answers, but he was torn between protecting Ethan and respecting Claire's grief. The weight of unspoken words pressed down on them, the distance between them growing wider with each passing moment. As David cleared the table, he couldn't shake off the feeling that this was just the tip of the iceberg. The secrets, the lies, the unspoken truths, they were a tangled mess, threatening to unravel the fragile fabric of their family. And David, for the first time, felt utterly unequipped to mend the tears.